Hi, and welcome to this live stream where I will cover some of the things that I see as most interesting at SAP Teched 2020, our first online session, and see what that is all gonna be like, which is pretty good. So if you are listening and have signed up and joined, just let me know in the comments. It's always great to hear that someone is actually seeing Ticket. Yes, and sound is good, which is good. Our first online there. So okay, cool. I'm fully aware and happy to share some of these things. So I guess before we get started, some of the things that's obviously important at this is integration as a topic with SAP, and I definitely think that given the response at Sapphire, it was hugely important from SAP to deal with these things, to deal with integration. And I think one of the key thing is this thing about end-to-end processes where you have data going from one end of the application to the other, and or the landscape, and they have tried to figure out how to deal with these things. Maybe this view is a little better, and I think we will see some more on this at the keynotes. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to get to understand what they're doing, what they've done since last time, and obviously see the reactions about how this is working and some of these different things. Normally, I will try to create an agenda, and I've also done it this year about some of the sessions I do think as most important. If you have some sessions that you think is important, just put them into the session or into the comments. I'd like to know what you think is interesting. And so one of the challenges with this is obviously it's free for all, which means there's a lot of people that have signed up and have added the agenda to your calendar, and it's like a 48-hour end-to-end viewing, and that means there's a lot of sessions that overlap, or well, probably not that overlap, but is on not optimal time zones that you need to watch at a later point in time, which will obviously be pretty interesting. So yeah, you just need to find the other session that's pre-recorded and see that instead, and you can only be signed up for one session, so you will need to figure out which one you want to sign up for. And there also seems to be a limit to how many people that can be assigned, that can view each session, which also limits some of the availability. I have created a blog post about what I do think is the most interesting, and I think this should be in the notes. Otherwise, you can find it at cpicourse.com, and it's this one where I've just tried to go through some of the sessions that I do think is relevant, and maybe we'll just see it from inside of the SAP view. One of the sessions I'm definitely looking most forward to is my session with how to run SAP API management with our Gradle plugins to simplify the way you're handling your SAP development process and what's going on in that perspective. So if you're on the page, you can see it here. Hello, Nelson. Thanks for joining. So this one, check it out and see what if there's anything interesting in it. But if we go back to the main channel and take a look at the overview, these are my time zones, and obviously those will differ depending from with your own setup. So you can see my calendar here and what's going on in this this session. So let's see if we can zoom out how we can get space for it. That doesn't really work. So it's 3 days. We'll start with the keynote, with the technology platform and everything like that that's going on. Some Q&A. I do think that the cloud platform workflow is pretty interesting to see what that can do, and some of the benefits of that. So this is, what is it? Dev 207, which sounds pretty interesting. And then we start up in the morning at 7:30 a.m. That's probably a little too early for my normal routine, but let's see if I'll make it. Otherwise, I'll need to reschedule it and figure it at a later time. Obviously, Cloud Platform Integration roadmap. Cloud Platform Integration Suite roadmap. I do think that is interesting. I guess they have these monthly update calls, which probably will cover a lot of the same things. So maybe this is just a little layer on top that give you some different insight, or maybe a little longer perspective of what's going on. There is the integration suite, big picture, understanding where SAP is going with it. Is also interesting, Dev 202. And then custom use case for integration scenarios about using the capabilities of the Cloud Platform Integration Suite. Workflow management roadmap, integration of non-SAP applications for integration suite. Pretty interesting also to understand what the goals are with those things. Seeker also had a session some month ago in the CPI update, and I think they will probably cover some of the same things in this session. Some Q&A, process orchestration roadmap, that will be interesting to see. So one thing I do miss, and I'm not sure what will go on there. So this is a live session, so maybe that would mean that it's time for possible to ask questions. But on the other hand, is if it's just 30 minutes, it is probably going to be a little difficult getting to cover what SAP wants or Udo want to say, and also have time for Q&A. So let's see. But definitely it's interesting to see where the CPI platform is going and what's interesting about that. I'm not sure why I put this on this late either. But the API strategy is, something that you need to figure out. And then in the morning, I guess this more my time. I have the session CM 104 about how you can use our open source Gradle plugins to make it easy for you to deliver SAP integration. And I do think this is the most interesting session, and I hope you have signed up for that one. There's a session here about, I would assume, the migration from Neo to Cloud Foundry, about all the platforms and what you need to do in that perspective. So that will also be pretty interesting to see what's going on in that perspective. So let me just see, is there anything I can see here that's going on? Yeah, so obviously it's nice that you can sit at home or at the office, work in between the session and see some of these different sessions. I guess normally at Teched I will fill in my calendar, and there it is a lot more full. There's a lot more session that makes sense, or maybe it's just because it's condensed in a shorter time frame, which I don't know. So I guess normally Teched Las Vegas it should be more hours, and sessions are repeated 2 to 3 times. You obviously got hands-on sessions, and I haven't been able to schedule any hands-on sessions. I think they were all booked, and there was also some of these that were all booked. I'm not sure if the session is fully booked and there is a waiting list, if you can still join, or how that's going to work out. And if you're on the waiting list, you can then join the session if people are not showing up, or how that's going to work. So that's obviously going to be pretty interesting to see what's going on there. But yeah, and then other than that, I think some of the other services is the data intelligence platform. What's that platform about? Because I guess as integration architects, we will need to understand how we can leverage those platforms and say, okay, CPI or integration suite is not the right tool for this, but the data intelligence is a better suited for that. Yeah, obviously it would also have been nice to have some hands-on session that you can see how these leverages and stuff like that. But let's see. I definitely look forward to hear the keynote, see what's going on, and see there's also some Q&A with the wrap-up and Q&A, and also you can ask your questions to the executive here. So let's see what these things are about. Yeah, looking forward to it. If there's any sessions that I missed that you think could be interesting, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate this. But yeah, and if you liked it and liked the video, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, and well, see you next week when we are covering these things. And hopefully you join my session CM104. So thanks.